What's up guys, welcome back to the Decent Garage. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about automatic transmissions in first-gen Cummins trucks. I know everyone says they're horrible, but I'm going to teach you what I did to mine to make it last so long and it's still in great shape and to hold up to a little bit more power. This is something everyone needs to know if you have an automatic transmission. All right, here's my 1985 Dodge Ram crew cab that has a 93 drivetrain in it, including the stock automatic transmission. So this truck has 180,000 miles on it. And like I said, the automatic transmission is stock. So with any automatic transmission, the name of the game is keep it cool. Heat is the nemesis of an automatic transmission, or any transmission for that matter. So before I show you the things you need to do to take care of the transmission, the first thing you need is a gauge to actually monitor the temperature of your transmission. I have mine right here, and this gauge is vital for making sure the transmission is healthy. If you're towing or driving a lot or racing, whatever it is, you use that gauge to monitor where your transmission temperature is at. And if I'm towing, sometimes I have to drop it out of overdrive to get the transmission temperature to come down or to control the EGTs. So that gauge helps me a lot in determining how I need to drive on a daily basis and when I'm towing to make sure I keep the transmission healthy. The worst thing for these transmissions is that excessive heat. Anything more than 220 degrees, you start burning the transmission fluid, and then it just stops being helpful for the transmission in lubricating and keeping it efficient. So you got to keep those temperatures down. The number one cause of heat in these transmissions is the torque converter. The torque converters are not 100% efficient, and that lack of efficiency gets lost in the form of heat. So now we're going to talk about how do you control the heat. All the products that I show that I've installed here, I'll link those in the description below if it's something you're interested in installing on your truck. They're very simple to install, but I'll link those in the description below. So one of the best dissipators of heat is fluid, transmission fluid. So if there's any way you can have more transmission fluid in your transmission, it will be more efficient at dissipating that heat. So the number one way to do that is a deeper transmission pan. So this is made by Mag High Tech. They have a standard pan, a deep pan, and this is a double deep pan. So with a standard pan, usually when you drop the pan and change the filter, you need to add back in 6 quarts of fluid. When I do that on this truck, I have to add in 12 quarts of fluid. And when I just changed the torque converter a couple weeks ago and had to refill everything, I had to add 17 quarts of fluid. I feel like this is probably the number one way to keep your transmission cool and do it effectively on a budget. One thing to note, if you do get a deeper transmission pan, I'll link this below as well, but you need a spacer for the filter in the transmission that spaces the filter down to where it's supposed to be. You can't just run it in the stock location. But this is a great upgrade. It also has a drain plug and it has a port for a transmission temp sensor, which is very convenient. The next way to keep that fluid as cool as possible is through cooling systems. Now, these trucks come with stock cooling systems on them. I'll show you a couple of those. The first cooler that a lot of people ask about is right here under the exhaust manifold on the passenger side. This is a fluid to fluid cooler. This cooler is absolutely essential. I see a lot of people asking if they can delete it or take it out. This is something that if I had an automatic transmission, I would never delete it. It helps cool the transmission in hot weather, and it actually helps warm up the transmission in cold weather because it's using coolant as its buffer between cold and hot. So it's a very effective way to cool or warm the transmission. The next transmission cooler is right here behind the grill by the AC condenser, and you can see these 2 lines for it right here. So it's just mounted up there, and this is an air to liquid cooler. This one's not quite as efficient as the one on the side of the block, but it still does a really good job. So this is another component from the factory that will help cool your transmission. Here's a surprise. Some of you may not know this, and you'll probably run out to your trucks right now and check, but from the dealer, there was a dealer option auxiliary cooler on these trucks if you so chose when you bought the truck. Let me show you where that's at. I actually don't have mine on the truck, but I'll show you where it's at if you have one. If you come over here on the driver's side of the bed, lay down on the ground, It will be right up in here between the fuel fill neck and the front of the bed. You'll see this big piece here. It actually looks about the size of a battery for a car. But you'll see it's got like radiator fins in it, and it is a very effective cooler. It actually has a fan on it as well. If you have that in your truck, consider yourself lucky. It is a very good cooler. It's very efficient, and it does a great job. Mine started leaking when I converted my truck, so I actually pulled it out and I bought this Durelli auxiliary cooler with a fan. This does a great job. It was easy to install. The kit I bought actually came with a sensor that you put in the line that will kick this fan on when the temperature of the fluid reaches 180 degrees or higher. So it does a great job of cooling when it needs to. This is a great upgrade. It's a little pricey, but it does a really good job. And this is what many people run in the automotive industry, not just in diesel trucks, but in cars in general when they need to cool fluids, whether that's power steering, automatic transmission, fuel, whatever it is. If they need to cool it, this is the type of cooler that they run. All right, so the next thing that helps a ton with these transmissions in helping with keeping heat down is improving the efficiency of the torque converter. And the only way to do that is to buy a new torque converter. As many of you know, I just installed a Suncoast stock stall torque converter on this, and it does a great job. You can tell that it just feels more efficient. I've also noticed my transmission temperature gauge seems to stay a little bit lower as well. I haven't towed a ton with it, but I'm excited to see how it handles towing as well. The last little bonus item for these transmissions to keep them in great shape is to actually do some adjustments to the bands and to the line pressure. Now, I don't have a video on this yet because I've already done this on my truck. Once I have another truck that has an automatic transmission, or if I find someone that I can help them do it on theirs, I will film a video on it. But there is a great write-up on Cummins forum. I'll try and link that in the description below, that tells you exactly how to do this to the T so you can't really mess it up. So it is a great upgrade. It makes the transmission shift way smoother, way crisper, and it makes it shift exactly when you want it to. So it's a great upgrade. I did it years ago and I haven't looked back. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are my recommendations to really make your automatic transmission shine. I see all the time that people are dogging on the automatic transmissions on these trucks, and I just don't get it. I actually love mine. It does great. I've done a lot of tuning to my truck. I'm not gonna say it's a super powerful truck, but it is turned up a little bit, and my transmission has held up to that power easily. So these are things that you can do. They're not super expensive, and it will really extend the life of your automatic transmission. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know if you liked it. We'll see you guys in the next video.